commence matters by the public from the Board of County Commissioners for April 2nd, 2024. We have a number of cards. Commissioner Greg Weiss to my left will read the cards. They are listed in terms of the first to the last. That is, the first person to put in a card will be the first person to have his or her card read. Vice Mayor Marino will be the timekeeper. Each person will have 3 minutes. And Commissioner Weiss will read 3 names. We have 2 podiums, and this way everybody will have an opportunity to be heard. Go right ahead, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. First up, we'll have T.K. Kirkley, followed by Aaron Actus, followed by Matthew Atkus.
Very good. So we should have 3 on the left side and 3 on the right side.
Followed by the next 3 are going to be Mickey Isaacson, Candace Rojas, and Andrew Charles Evanch.
Very good. All right, very good. We're going to start with our right. Ma'am, as soon as you state your name, the time will begin. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is T.K. Kirkley, 3005 Dunlin Road, Delray Beach, Florida. And I am here solely to say thank you to all of you for approving and moving forward the renovation and replacement of our animal shelter. I know it's been years in the making, and I know that it's been hurdles and so many people involved, but your approval means everything to us in the community who love the animals and work there and volunteer there. So from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you. Thank you to all the commissioners who have come to visit the shelter, be it at an event or just to see how you can help. We so appreciate it. And I wanted to give a special thank you to Mayor Sachs. I know this year she's been there already 3 times, not just to help the animals, but to help the staff and the volunteers. So I just want you all to know that we see you, we thank you, and appreciate everything you do for all of the animals and us. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next. Commissioner Weiss, maybe you should mention the name, and the person will come up to the podium.
We're going to start with Matthew. Matthew will go first.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say your name.
All right, go right ahead, sir.
Hello, I'm Matthew Actus. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready?
We already did it, Matthew. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We did it earlier, and that's okay. But thank you. Go right ahead, Matthew.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Okay. Ma'am, you
That
may
was
continue
Matthew.
with his time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Matthew's mother, Aaron Actus. We live in Jupiter. He's going to be homeschooling now, so he's going to be coming to the meetings. I'd like to discuss the election. The primary presidential preference is over, and not amid some voting rule situations. There was a confusion, and several voters were turned away and told they could not vote because they were Democrat. With no Democrat in the presidential primary on the ballot, there were no ballots for them. The issue was resolved, and those who returned were permitted to vote. Ironically, Lantana Mayor Karen Lethgo was named on the ballot, and she was one of those turned away. You can read that in the Coastal Green Acres Observer. Right now, we have 3 out of 23 municipalities are having a runoff on April 2nd today, not including Resurrection Easter Sunday from March 25th to April 1st. There have been 7 days of vote collecting with an average of 450 mail votes received and processed daily. Yesterday, April 1st, known as April Fool's Day, 3,140 envelope certificates were opened and ballots were tabulated without a canvassing board meeting, and votes were tabulated actually for 2 separate elections. Again, the ever-evolving, confusing calendar and smart sheet schedule was more unsmart than the last one. Several confirmations came from Orange County, and glitches prevented many individuals from booking a signature review or designees from attempting to request any election materials for inspection. The admin redacted past dates and activities, and now there is no record of anything even occurring during this past election. Was there even an election? The SOE branch offices were offering a new video game kiosk filled with vote-by-mail envelope certificate signatures. It seemed like a form of signature harvesting to me. Isn't this an exposure of voters' signatures and a violation of their voting method privacy? The signatures appeared to be mostly all acceptable, not questionable enough to even reject. It is very concerning as to why these nearly perfect signatures were shown and could be protested by the wrong player. If it did not feel right, and a survey will answer that question. Due to the number of ballots received, processed, and stored by the SOE staff and lack of reasonable transparency, on 3 separate occasions, a congressional candidate's spouse, a political action committee chairman, were all forced to appear, and a sheriff was called on 3 occasions to record the obstruction and maladministration of the election. The gaslighting of the public for personal gains is unacceptable. There is more to the story, but I'll leave it at that for now. Think about this. The amount of vote-by-mail and early voting ballot cards printed without supervision, is this a security risk? Can you really say our elections are secure?
Thank you so much.
Mr. Weiss?
I appreciate it. Ma'am, come on up and state your name. Your time will begin.
Hi, my name's Mickey Isaacson. I live in Boynton Beach. Good afternoon, Palm Beach County Mayor, Commissioners, and County Administrator. Why are the oaths and bonds not accessible on the Palm Beach County website for the people? Article 6 of the Constitution says that our government officials shall be bound by oaths or affirmation to support the Constitution. The American body sovereign have requested these valid oaths and bonds on 3/5, on 3/13, and on 3/18 we requested your valid credentials again and again, provided a timeline for payment and remedy. As of today, we have not received a single oath nor a valid bond from any of you. We are sending a default of summary judgment to the military to invite them to intervene on behalf of the American body sovereign. We wish to follow our inalienable rights, God-given Bill of Rights found in common law, which is based upon the 10 Commandments and was passed by Congress in 1789. God is wanting to act. The military has been waiting to act since 1960. How long will it take for the people to act and shift the power of what is coming? The time is now. One of the 4 main charges to changes to the county government in the Palm Beach Charter provides voters with a process to recall the county commissioners. Resign and go peacefully as we, the body sovereign, recall your positions. Ezekiel 18:21-23. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed and keep all my statutes and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live. He shall not die. All his transgressions that he hath committed that shall not be mentioned unto him in his righteousness that he hath done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith the Lord God, and not that he should return from his ways and live? What is a charter county? Florida has 67 counties, of which 20 are charters, and Palm Beach is one of them. Is it an attempt to supersede an existing form of government to overthrow that government by making itself a higher standard of governing body? What would that make it an act of treason? Are the charter officials attempting to grab power they don't actually have or a right to? Is a charter a group of elected officials abusing their office in an attempt to become dictators? Is considered treason? Can they be executed since it is a capital offense? See Florida Statute 876.32. By the way, there is no legal authority for charters. The UN Charter is made up of terminology. Treaties are what we sign with foreign countries. A charter is some fabricated nonsense that you're supposed to buy into so they can overthrow the U.S. without causing a stink about it. Is a county...
Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate those comments. Ma'am, you're recognized.
Thank you to our Board of Commissioners, also our public servants. The Constitution states that all power, not some of the power, belongs to we the people. It also states that fraud vitiates everything, ab initio. So I'm putting you all on notice, and I have hand-delivered our document 404 to activate the military. This fake facade is over, and this fake pony show is null and void. After an abundance of prayer, along with your silence and inaction, after repeating the same request over and over, we've asked you to investigate and ensure election security by enacting one-day voting, valid ID, paper ballots, removing all electronic voting systems, and hand counting the votes at the precinct level. We have been completely ignored. Turn up my mic, please. And after multiple pleas and warnings, we have completed step 404 to activate the military to assist in governance, reform, and fair elections. Your blatant disregard for the Constitution by citing fake statutes calling sheriffs to remove us from public meetings further indicates that you are part of a much larger crime syndicate, whether you know it or not. You have ignored detailed evidence on overwhelming vulnerabilities in our current voting systems that was presented to each of you. It is also listed on your website that Palm Beach County is a charter, and as Mickey explained, that's illegal. We believe each one of you is acting illegally. Multiple public records requests for valid oaths and surety bonds have been ignored. I've not seen one valid oath. If you had one, it should be proudly displayed in your offices next to all the awards that you win. We, American Sovereign, are convinced that you are not working on behalf of we the people, but rather you're serving as self-interest and puppet masters. That is why we were forced to contact the military. We've tried for years to talk to you, and you ignore us and say, thank you, your 3 minutes is up, and goodbye. But there's no action done, no investigations, nothing that you've indicated that you're trying to help we the people. Many of you were in power in 2020 during the COVID scamdemic and used your powerful position to enforce ungodly, tyrannical crimes against humanity, vaccines, and lockdowns, which created jobs and inability for people to work or earn a living. And our current concerns include blatant electoral discrepancies, voting system vulnerabilities, voting system fiscal fraud, illegal taxation, stolen from we the people. Then you use those same funds to fund frivolous budgets and policies that are contrary to the public's best interest. You cite statutes that are contrary to the Constitution, and you use them as weapons against we the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are served.
Sir, go right ahead.
Hello, my name's Andrew Charles Evanch. Hello, neighbors. 9/11, I was a travel agent, and then 10 days later, I was out of work as the company was about to shut down. The global war on crisis, or the global war on terror began, and in 2006, I joined the United States Navy as a reservist, as a heavy equipment operator doing construction. In 2008, the global financial crisis hit, and then we come to 2020 and we get the global lockdowns. So we've got 3 global incidents in my lifetime that affect my ability to make an income. The reason why I bring up the lockdowns is because my military training, we were given masks that were designed for chemical, biological, and radioactive warfare. Those masks were not put on by anyone in the military, and they were not given any order of that. And the paper masks are scientifically proven not to be able to be effective. And I knew this. So I started asking questions. One question led to 1,000 questions. 1,000 questions led me to meet Zach Voorhees, the Google whistleblower. Zach Voorhees in 2018 uncovered the blacklist file, which is everything that Google is hiding from you on every single platform. From the blacklist file, then there's an executive that said that they were going to weaponize the whole platform to fix the Trump situation. So to turn from that, I'm going to turn to the Bible and what I've studied. So the Bible mentions 3 years and 6 months of deception. That's 1,260 days. Beginning the 11 November, so it's November 3rd of 2020, that begins 1,260 days, which by my calculation ends April 16th of 2024. At the headquarters of the CIA, there is John 8:32, and you shall know the truth, and the truth pardon me, I will restate, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. thank you for your time. I hope that you take this into consideration, and I hope that you're standing on the truth. The sand is a shaking foundation that it will crumble, and the truth is a rock foundation, and I hope that you're standing on the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to have 6 more names.
Okay, we're going to have
Excuse me. Yeah, whoever did that, and you know, there's a young man sitting behind you. Let's show him how good American citizens act. Go right ahead, Commissioner Weiss.
It looks like Pam Skirian, Kristen Mondo, Todd Buffington, Catherine Hart, Gabrielle Fox, and Robert Guzzardi.
Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name. Your time will begin.
My name is Pam Skenyon, and I live in Delray Beach. Thank you for listening to me today. The first thing I observed when I first got here was all the smiles that went across all your faces when you were given accolades, okay, about animals. I'm an animal lover myself, okay, but that's not what your job is. Your job is to do the will of the people and to do the right thing. So I'm not going to, the last person that spoke, that was wonderful. It's exactly what I would like to say if I had written it down. I know that everybody up there thinks that they're a good person, okay? I know that you think that you might be doing the right thing, but clearly you've heard our voices today. The right thing has not been done. I worked at the elections. When I did voice my opinion, I called in, it says, call here if you saw anything. I called the number and said, this is what I saw. It did not look right. I saw ballots being dropped off. Nobody was counting ballots back and forth. So I'm like, how many ballots did he just give you? I don't know. I said, well, how many ballots did you just take from him? Oh, I don't know. I said, who knows? Who knows the number of ballots that just came out of this van? Okay? You know what he said? The post office knows. I said, oh, the post office knows how many ballots are being dropped off because they're sending a bill to the SOE to get paid, but the person that's collecting the ballots does not know how many ballots he was just handed. It could be 500, could be 5,000, but this was happening all day long, okay? So you have to know from the bottom of your heart that something is not right, okay? And that if you see something, say something, okay? And you all have an opportunity right now, okay, to go home tonight, get on your knees and pray to God and ask for forgiveness if you know of anything that's been going on in this world the last several elections, okay? Ask for forgiveness, and you know what? He will forgive you. Do the right thing, please, okay? My time is up. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You're recognized. State your name.
Thank you. My name is Kristen Mondo. I live in Palm Beach Gardens. I've been a resident of the state of Florida for 17 years. I'm a volunteer with United Sovereign Americans, not a spokesperson. United Sovereign Americans is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers in over 20 states. Today, I come to you as a concerned citizen sharing alarming information about our state's voter database, uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified and credentialed data team. While the numbers are staggering and somewhat difficult to understand, one thing is clear: they don't add up. Just like your checkbook must balance, so must our votes. If you had 10,000 fewer dollars in your bank account than you had deposited, you would certainly want to know what happened. And if a company had a significant discrepancy in its books, the company would most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only data provided by state election officials, shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We are not saying that one candidate won over another, or we're not saying that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from a certified election shows that the votes as counted were not all valid and accurate under the law. Tonight, we will present you with a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty plaguing our elections, along with a summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We are happy to meet with you to go over this information, including more detail about the specific findings. If you have questions that I cannot answer now, I will commit to getting you an answer in writing from the United Sovereign Americans executive team as soon as possible. This data and our request for an investigation will be shared with state election officials and law enforcement. It is essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these issues must be taken seriously. Today I come to you, our closest elected representatives, for support and action. We are asking that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituents and your county. Thank you. Our next 3 speakers will read the resolution in 3 parts, and our final speaker will conclude our presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, you're recognized. State your name.
Todd Buffington, resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas it is recognized civil rights in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections, and the right of suffrage can be denied by a debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise, Reynolds versus Sims at 377 U.S. 533 from 1964. Whereas it is the duty of our elected officials to guarantee our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon him while so engaged. The evil intent consists of disobedience to the law. In Re Coy 127 U.S. 731 from 1888. Whereas our constitutional system of representative government only works when the following 4 tenets of an election are upheld. The voter rolls must be accurate. National Voter Registration Act, 1993. Number 2, votes counted must be from eligible voters. U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. Number 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. Number 4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. Help America Vote Act of 2002. Whereas an open source audit of the Florida 2022 general election conducted by Florida state citizens has uncovered evidence of massive inaccuracies that appear to violate both federal and state laws, including 564,926 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the Florida State Voter Roll database, 117,171 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrations, 88,635 blank ballots, 145,309 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election. 205,744 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election. Maximum allowable system errors for the 22 general election in Florida was 62. Certification as defined by law and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal.
Thank you, sir. At this time, before you're recognized, I'm going to pass the gavel over to the Vice Mayor Marino because I have a medical appointment at this time. Thank you very much, ma'am. State your name and you may be recognized.
Catherine Hart. Whereas these findings trample legal accuracy requirements of the voting system during a federal election. Accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture and report the specific selections and absence of selections made by a voter without error. Whereas the intent of the voters must be known factually before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law is an abridgment of the civil rights of its citizens, a fraud ab initio, United States versus Throckmorton 98 U.S. 61, 1878. Quote, from time immemorial, an election to public office has been, in point of substance, no more and no less than the expression by qualified electors of their choice of candidates. United States versus Classic, 313 U.S. 299, 1941. Whereas Florida's 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our natural rights under a government duly and provably chosen by us, the American people, resulting in incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of these United States. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and the assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. Number one, proof of citizenship and identity to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. Number two, documented chain of custody on every ballot, regardless of entry source, maintained from voter to vote count to final canvass. Thank you.
They should pay attention. I think they should pay attention before she goes. Now that we sit down now.
Please, please.
You're being rude. You're
We-
being rude. Have them sit down. They're rude.
Officer, Ms. Rojas, you have been,
I love it.
you just asked to be removed because you are not being quiet. You're interrupting, and we have other people that are going to speak. Your public servants are right here watching you. Sir, your 3 minutes are about to, who's going next? Miss?
Gabrielle Fox, resident of Palm Beach Gardens. Number 3, secure ballots similar to currency. Where imaging technology is used for tabulation, the security features must be verifiable in the image. Number 4, voter rolls, certified accurate 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address in person to a qualified official at each polling place. Systems, machines, security measures, procedures, infrastructure, policy, and conduct are required to be compliant with the law regarding certification, testing, operational validation, and operational implementation. Any breach will require an adequately strong audit to verify measured outcomes were within 10% of the margin of victory at a 95% probability. Number 6, a scientifically randomized audit of real ballots must be performed and meaningfully witnessed, proving the error rate is smaller than 10% of the margin of victory. Otherwise, a fully witnessed hand recount must be performed. All parties with more than 10% of the vote shall have full and effective observation rights. Election operations and systems must maintain end-to-end chain of custody from voter to vote count to final canvass, including auditability and witnessed transfer with paper records. Number 8, adjudication must be signed off by party witnesses and candidate witnesses with full and effective observation rights. Candidates must be allowed immediate access to ballots, images, and CVRs. Candidates may agree to use party witnesses solely at their discretion. Number 9, end-to-end audits must be allowed by qualified, insured, and bonded security, forensics, or financial auditors. These shall not be personnel within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, ballots, adjudication, CVRs, ballot count, voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic systems, including system logs, if applicable. The aggrieved party must be allowed to select their own auditor. Number 10, if the total of all unique variances is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected unless it can be provably corrected by a manual hand recount with a full review of records. Number 11, waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance can guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. Just obey the law.
My name is Robert Gazzardi. I live in West Palm Beach County. I've been a resident of the state for about 8 years. I'm a volunteer and not an official spokesman with United Sovereign Americans. You just heard a powerfully written resolution outlining massive inaccuracies in our 2022 election, from registration through certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies that will proactively protect the validity of the 2024 general election for all Americans. In fact, the resolution cited by many U.S. Supreme Court precedents to support the need for such actions. Laws are being ignored. Bottom line, the checkbook is not balancing, and we need certainty. The voting system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right to choose our representatives, is not producing an accurate, trustworthy result. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, a system which is part of our national security infrastructure, should continue to go on ignored? How much is it costing us not to fix the problem? How much is it costing our GDP, our military, our foreign policy, our health, and self-esteem of our children and young people? And how much is it costing our dignity to keep fighting each other? The cost is immeasurable, so I urge you to show your agreement by passing this resolution. Our website, showcasing our initiatives nationwide, has some extremely informative videos explain the anomalies and the apparent violations of law that are found here in Florida, as well as in other states. The website is uniteforfreedom.com. That's unite, U-N-I-T-E, the number 4, freedom.com. I encourage you to check it out and learn more about our organization. One more time, that's unite, number 4, freedom.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Greg?
Okay, well, next we'll have KJ McCurt, Drew Martin, Karen Yeho. It looks like Karen Lambert? Wow, it's, you live on 1060 Lake.
Okay, she's right there, Greg.
Okay, you know who you are then. And followed by Jonathan, looks like Baldwin.
Okay, go right ahead.
My name is Kirsten Meckert. I live in Palm Beach County, and I've been a resident of Florida for 4 years. I'm also a volunteer and not an official spokesperson of the United Sovereign Americans. What you heard today is truly the culmination of thousands of hours of work by our highly qualified and credentialed volunteer data teams from Florida and across the country. Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. Large numbers of Americans, including many right here in Florida, have questions about the trustworthiness of our elections. I think we can all agree that we wish this was not the case, but official data shows these concerns are valid. I'll repeat that. Official data shows these concerns are valid. And the law says resolving them is essential in securing our liberty. At the same time, government representatives at all levels have not been transparent or responsive to what citizen audits have found. Our right to choose our representatives in legally valid and transparent elections is a foundation upon which our constitutional republic was established. The right has been bravely protected over the past 2.5 centuries by sacrifices of our brothers, our fathers, mothers, and sisters. You, on this board, have a chance to show everyone who defended American liberty and the citizens you represent that you value it also by passing this resolution demanding a valid general election in 2024. We request that this commission today signs this resolution. If your process requires that an issue be on the agenda in order to vote on it, we request that we be placed on the next meeting's agenda. We appreciate your time and your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready? Bye.
Go ahead, Drew.
Drew Martin. I'm here both on my own behalf and on behalf of the Loxodge Group, the Sierra Club. On my own behalf, I just want to say I did vote, And I have voted in every election since I was 18. I found the process worked. I was confident in how the process was handled. I thought the SOE's people were professional. And I feel that they're doing the best job they can under a difficult circumstance. So I just want to say, on my behalf, I feel that they are doing the best job they can. And maybe you need to bring the SOE in to make a presentation to you. That I don't know. I think part of the problem is that we don't have good civics. Do you want me to wait while the gentleman helps this lady? You know, I think people don't really follow civics. They don't understand civics. And we don't have, and I, as someone who taught middle school students, I know that there is a great deal of misunderstanding of how the government process works. First of all, there is a separation of church and state. The Bill of Rights is not based on the Ten Commandments. There's nothing wrong with the Ten Commandments, but we have a separation of church and state. People need to understand that. Your decisions up there are personal. If you include your religion in that, that's fine. You're allowed to have your own personal beliefs. But people today are here in office. They're not based, it's not based on their religion. We all have different religions. We allow people to have the freedom to express their religion and their personal thoughts. On the environment, I just want to say I appreciated the vote the other day. I think it was well thought out on the road system. I hope that you will turn down the Tenderly proposition that is coming up at the beginning of next month, and some of the other things that are expanding the Ag Reserve. I think it is being expanded too quickly. I think we need to base things on the comprehensive plan and, you know, what's the long-term good for the county. And we need to bring traffic under control. We need to have less commercial. I think the distribution centers are going to increase traffic problems, and I would prefer that we continue to maintain the caps on the Ag Reserve that we have and not to let those go away. I appreciate your patience and your time. And by the way, I'm glad that the animals are being protected, and I consider that part of what I vote for. Thank you so much.
Karen Yeho, 9174 Candy Corps, Boynton Beach, Florida. And I'm a homestay resident of Florida since 1987. I'm here again, it's about property title fraud. And to me, it's criminal action. And I provide each commissioner, mayors, and city administrators a copy that Miami considered property title fraud. It's a criminal, and they are heavily pursuing. Same thing with the Broward County. Broward County provided, commissioners provided the property appraiser of the Broward County with the 10 task force investigators to investigate property title fraud. These are the properties that it was stolen from me by using court proceedings. The perpetrators even telling the judge in writing that they own the property, but provide evidence that they do not own the property. And my property was stolen. And here I'm going again and again with the judge, and the judge just denied all my motions, everything. I took it to appellate court. Appellate court said, yes, it's a fraud, obtaining property by fraud. Now they stolen my property and try to sell the properties. Now, each individual property that's stolen have its history. Like here, this is my inheritance house. Stolen, sold for $315,000, resold after 3 months for $565,000 by taking out Fannie Mae mortgage. So I'm respectfully request that this wonderful commissioners please assign a task force having an input from homeowners like me and also property appraisers I know what's going on. I can explain it. I used to work in medical records clerk. I'm accountant. I'm a fraud auditor. I'm also a professional licensed school teacher for Palm Beach County for Florida, math, 5th grade to 9th grade, science, 5th grade to 9th grade, ESOL, endorsed, and I'm a licensed real estate broker. I'm a licensed community association manager, and I have a whole bunch of licenses that I just love studying. That's why I was a teacher. So, and I also apply my knowledge, and they pick on the wrong person. But this wrong person cannot fight with the court. So thank you very much for your attention to and for your kind ears to hear me out. And please, let's do something about it. Property title fraud for wealthy Palm Beach counties. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Karen Luna Lampert. I live 1060 Lake Drive, Delray Beach, Florida. I just wanted to thank all the commissioners, just like my friend TK, for approving of the renovation of our animal shelter, Palm Beach County Animal Care and Control. And I also wanted to thank everybody for your patience and for also being so professional whenever we have a concern and helpful. Thank you very much and have a great day.
After Jonathan, we'll have John Mindendeo and Colby Frank.
Go right ahead, sir. Hi, my name is Jonathan from Livingston Lane, West Palm Beach, Florida, and I have a little speech I've written out for you guys. Positions of power in this country, including but not limited to the media, the government, manufacturing industries, academia, and other institutional pillars, have in fact been subverted and commandeered by a foreign enemy. Founding stock white Americans no longer have a stake in the political processes or a say in the matters ruling our daily lives. Proof of this fact is being shown throughout this country, wherein fundamental and deliberate attacks on the First Amendment disguised as quote-unquote anti-Semitism or hate speech laws have pervaded the law books and courtrooms that once upheld a just and healthy system. I'm here today to shed light on the double standards that are placed upon Americans who speak out against this communist threat. It's been 4 years since the Black Lives Matter riots, and it seems that nothing has changed, for in that time we have seen 2 foreign wars suck away our men, women, and resources, a staggering increase in crime rates and mass immigration, and still no agreement with these outspoken minorities or solution to the issues that assuaged us then. One is left to wonder if there's really anyone among our professed ruling class that cares about the average white American or the problems that persist through our country. This is a call out to white European stock Americans. Race is a reality, and identity politics are mere window dressing on the natural problems that arise when existing inside of a multicultural society. I urge you, people of dignity, honor, and self-determination, to stand up and look at the world around you. Compare your surroundings to that of your grandfathers or his fathers, and ask yourself with an earnest heart if the last 4 to 5 decades have truly been progressive and inclusive, or have we all been had for fools. With that, I'd like to end on a few statistics in an attempt to appeal to reason and dispel the slanderous rumors of bigotry. The members of President Joe Biden's cabinet are 80% Jewish. 96% of mainstream media is controlled and owned by 6 umbrella corporations, all of which are headed by Jewish men. Of the 8 Ivy League institutions in this country, 7 of them are chaired by Jews. At the top of the top 27 donors to the 2020 U.S. general election, 17 were Jewish men. The United States provides over $3.3 billion in foreign assistance to Israel annually, making Israel the largest recipient of U.S. foreign aid circa 2024. Within the 5 decades from 1970 to 2020, Jews headed the Federal Reserve for over 38 years. And despite making up only 15% of the population, black Americans are responsible for over 65% of all violent crimes, including rape, homicide, and armed robbery. In conclusion, living among whites is not a human right, and hail victory. Thank you for your time.
John? Ms. John?
Colby?
Hello. My name is John Minadio, and I want to start with a Bible verse, Revelation 3:9. A couple of you might not like this, Darren Leisner, Greg Weiss. But in the Bible, it says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and know that I have loved thee." So with that being said, my name is John Minadio. My online moniker is Handsome Truth. I am the founder of GoyamTV.com and the co-founder of gtvflyers.com. I also help support a decentralized First Amendment active club called the GDL, the Goyim Defense League. In the past 2 years, I have been unlawfully put in jail 4 times for exposing Jewish supremacy. We are supposed to have the First Amendment in this country, but unfortunately we have treasonous politicians running the state of Florida. Oh, but what do you mean, you ask? Last year, Ron DeSantis flew to Israel to pass a bill called HB 269, which would jail activists like myself for 5 years in prison for hate crimes for simply having a list of Jewish people's name on it who own our banking, media, and government. These flyers include no threats whatsoever, just shocking facts. The left is noticing the genocide of the Palestinians. The right is noticing the Great Replacement, also known as the Kalergi Plan. When Americans realize that Jews that control our government are behind both, I believe we will have a civil war in no time. The question is, City Council, are you going to side with the Jewish ADL and continue to commit treason by censoring Americans for their First Amendment free speech? Or will you join the side of the founding stock Americans and stand up for what our forefathers bled for? With that being said, I have 39 seconds. Every single aspect of the media is Jewish, 96% of it. 80% of Joe Biden's cabinet is Jewish. All of Trump's donors are Jewish. DEI really means DIE. Diversity means fewer white people. Inclusion means exclusion of white people. Equity means stealing from white people. Thank you, Jewish people. Every single aspect of mass migration is Jewish. Opening up the borders to the United States, Canada, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, 30 Jewish NGO groups. You can find out more at gtvflyers.com. Heil Hitler. Wow, thank you.
Sir?
Yes, hello. Wow, those were two just incredible and amazing speeches. I don't think I can top those. What's really interesting is that we have, over the past 20 minutes now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's one more behind that wall, 6, 7, 8, 9 sheriff's deputies. Why so many deputies, council? Anybody want to answer that? Why do we keep calling in more and more and more sheriff's deputies? Because you have upset white Americans here protesting your Jewish terrorism. What part of jailing a man for distributing political and religious literature onto people's lawns is somehow lawful? Doesn't it faze you that when Rick Bradshaw gets in his press conferences and he talks about these migrants who have just kidnapped and sexually assaulted a young woman in Palm Beach County, that to jail the man exposing who's behind the open border is to partake in the open border criminal activity itself? Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, can he come down here? Can you hit your little buttons and have Mr. Bradshaw come down here, please? Is that possible? Oh, I see you're smiling. Is it funny? Miss Marino, is this funny?
Please continue.
Okay. Well, I am continuing here, so let's see. We have Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, World Jewish Congress, Office of the Chief Rabbi, Israel Aid, Masorti Foundation, the Postcode for Jewish Life, USCJ. This is all the non-governmental organizations who are behind the open border in this country. And it is on purpose, and it is intentional. It is to destroy the voice and power and institutional generational wealth of white Americans. And every single one of you here knows it. So the real interesting thing about the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society is that the DHS secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, actually came from that organization. And it's hilarious because he was getting grilled by the Congress of the United States. And then his sole reaction was, oh, you're all anti-Semitic. My family and the Holocaust, He didn't answer any of the questions. I mean, what the hell is the point of a government if you can't follow the laws? Who's the government? I think we all know you are a corporation. Thank you all. Hail Hitler.
have any more cards?
Vice Mayor, we have one item we received. This will be a receive and file. This came in over electronically. This is from Kesnel Theus, and he extends his heartfelt appreciation for our dedicated service. It's with gratitude I address the influx of Haitians in our community amidst the crisis in Haiti, given the significant Haitian American population in Palm Beach County. Prioritizing, understanding, and meeting the needs of our fellow community members during this challenging time is paramount. And it goes on beyond that, but
Thank you. And that's the last of our cards?
That is.
Do I have any commissioner comments? Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, we talk about freedom of speech, and we're told freedom of speech matters the most when you hear something that might turn your stomach and make you want to vomit. And we had some of that today, and I'd like to thank everyone in here for being professional and allowing those who wish to say things that we may vehemently disagree with, they were allowed to speak, and was a test for this board, and thank you all for that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. Just to echo Commissioner Woodward's comments, what we heard here today was 3 people exercising their freedom of speech, their First Amendment rights, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't disgusting. And it boggles my mind and hurts my heart and my soul to understand that there are people like this today, after everything that's gone on in this world, with the suffering that has gone on in this world, and that we haven't learned from that, at least not some folks. The folks in the Jewish community, I just want to let you know that certainly what was said here today does not represent the majority anywhere even near the people that live in our community. And that we will continue to make sure that everybody is safe to practice their religion the way they see fit. And to the extent if laws are violated, people are going to be held accountable, and we have the commitment from not only this board, but our state attorney and our sheriff and law enforcement in this community. And I want to thank law enforcement for being here this afternoon. You all keep us safe. It's unfortunate that this is the days that we live in, but glad to know you're with us and let you know we have your back as well.
Thank you. Once a month, we have Matters by the Public, which is what we had today. And it is the opportunity for our public to get up and speak. And we do appreciate those that come here and invest their time. We do listen to everything that you say. It is not our policy to comment while you are speaking. That is not what we do. We're here to take the information. We do live in a democracy. That's why everyone does and has the opportunity to get up and speak their opinions, speak what's important to them. And oftentimes we may not agree, but the decorum that we show here is what we try to afford everybody else. So with that, I appreciate everyone that came here today to speak. And if you'd like to speak next month, you know where we are. We'll be here at the same time. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.